Hello, everyone. Today we are following a woman who went to sea for work and found herself inside three of the most famous ship disasters in history. Violet Jessop was aboard Olympic when it collided with a warship. She was a stewardess on Titanic when it sank. 4 years later, she was serving on the hospital ship Britannic when an explosion sent that vessel beneath the Aegean Sea. The easy version of her story is that she was simply lucky. But luck does not explain why she kept returning to the ocean or how discipline helped her act when enormous ships failed around her. Stay with Violet through 3 different emergencies and discover why surviving was only one part of her remarkable life. Chapter 1. A Life Shaped by the Sea. Violet Constance Jessop was born in Argentina in 1887 to Irish parents. Her early life was not comfortable. She became seriously ill as a child, and after her father died, the family moved to Britain. Her mother supported the family by working as a stewardess at sea. When her mother became ill, Violet also needed to earn money. Passenger ships offered work, but the job demanded long hours, patience, and careful attention. A stewardess looked after passengers, kept cabins in order, answered requests, and remained calm around people from many backgrounds. Violet was young, and some employers thought her appearance might attract unwanted attention. She responded by dressing plainly for interviews. In 1908, she began working at sea. It was not a romantic adventure. It was a practical decision made by a young woman with family responsibilities. Soon, she joined the White Star Line and worked aboard Olympic, one of the largest passenger ships in the world. The ship seemed to represent a confident new age. Its size, electric lights, decorated rooms, and powerful engines suggested that modern technology could make the ocean feel controlled. Violet was about to learn how quickly that confidence could be tested. Chapter 2. The First Warning. On September 20, 1911, Olympic was leaving Southampton when it collided with HMS Hawke, a British naval cruiser. The pointed bow of the warship tore into Olympic's side. Passengers and crew felt the impact, and both ships suffered serious damage. But Olympic did not sink. Its internal divisions helped contain the flooding, and there was no loss of life. For Violet, this was not yet a shipwreck. It was a frightening collision and an early lesson. Even the largest ship could be wounded in ordinary waters, close to land. Olympic returned for repairs. Violet returned to work. That choice matters. Later retellings often present her as a woman who moved from disaster to disaster, as if fate were following her. In reality, she was a professional in an industry that carried millions of people across oceans. The sea was her workplace, and leaving it would have meant leaving a career she had worked hard to build. The following year, friends encouraged her to transfer to Olympic's new sister ship. Its name was Titanic. Chapter 3. The Ship That Seemed Too Strong. Violet joined Titanic as a stewardess for its first voyage in April 1912. The ship left Southampton for New York, with passengers ranging from wealthy travelers to families hoping to begin new lives. Violet's work placed her among the people rather than on the bridge. She knew the corridors, cabins, routines, and quiet labor that kept the floating city moving. Then, late on April 14th, Titanic struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic. At first, the danger was difficult to understand. There was no dramatic explosion. Some passengers did not believe the ship could sink. Yet water was entering several forward compartments, and the crew began preparing the lifeboats. Violet was ordered to the boat deck. Stewardesses could help show frightened passengers that entering a lifeboat was safe. She eventually entered Lifeboat 16. In her memoir, Violet remembered that an officer handed her a baby as the boat was lowered. After the survivors reached the rescue ship Carpathia, a woman took the child from her. The identity of the baby has never been firmly established, so the careful way to tell this moment is as Violet's own remembered experience, not as a solved mystery. Behind the lifeboat, Titanic disappeared into the dark water. More than 1,500 people died. Violet survived, but survival did not erase what she had seen. Chapter 4. Going Back. It would be easy to imagine that Violet never wanted to see another ship, but after Titanic, she returned to maritime work. Why? She left no simple answer that explains every feeling. Work, duty, skill, and economic independence all mattered. The ocean was also a world she understood. A disaster could change a person without taking away the knowledge that person had built. Violet went back to Olympic. During the First World War, passenger travel changed. Ships were used for military service, and Violet trained for wartime medical work. She joined Britannic, the third Olympic-class vessel, which had been converted into a hospital ship. Britannic included safety improvements made after Titanic. It had more lifeboat capacity and changes to its internal protection. But safety is never a promise that nothing can happen. It is a way of reducing risk when danger arrives. On November 21, 1916, Britannic was sailing through the Aegean Sea near the Greek island of Kea. The ship was not carrying wounded patients on that outward journey. In the morning, an explosion shook the vessel. The official historical record concluded that Britannic had struck a mine. Chapter 5. 55 minutes. Water entered Britannic rapidly. Some watertight doors could not close properly, and open portholes allowed more water in as the ship leaned. Captain Charles Bartlett tried to move the ship towards shallower water, but the forward motion created another danger. 2 lifeboats were lowered too early, while the propellers were still turning. The boats were pulled toward the blades. People shouted warnings, but the noise and confusion made communication difficult. Violet was in one of the endangered boats. According to her memoir, she jumped into the water to escape. She was pulled beneath the surface and struck her head before rising again. Years later, she wrote that a doctor found evidence of an old skull fracture. Because this detail comes from her personal account, it should not be presented as an independently verified medical record. Britannic sank in about 55 minutes. 30 people were recorded as dead or missing, far fewer than on Titanic, partly because rescue boats were nearby and the water was warmer. Still, the lower number does not make the event small. Each death belonged to a real person, and every survivor carried a different memory of that morning. Violet had now survived the sinking of 2 sister ships and a serious collision involving the third. Chapter 6. Beyond the Legend. Newspapers and later storytellers gave Violet a powerful nickname, Miss Unsinkable. It is memorable, but it can hide the human being beneath the legend. Violet did not control the iceberg, the mine, or the movements of 2 enormous ships in a narrow channel. She did control smaller things, learning her job, following orders, observing people, and continuing to make decisions under pressure. Her story also corrects a common simplification. She did not survive 3 sinkings. Olympic remained afloat after its collision. She survived 2 sinkings and 1 major collision across the 3 Olympic-class ships. After the war, Violet continued working at sea. Her career lasted for decades, including service on other passenger ships. She traveled around the world and eventually retired in England. She wrote about her experiences in the 1930s, but her memoir was published only after her death. The decision to return to sea may be the most surprising part of her life. It was not proof that she felt no fear. Courage does not require the absence of fear. Sometimes it means refusing to let one terrible event define every future choice. Chapter 7. What Survival Really Means. Violet Jessop's life sits at the meeting point of technology and human endurance. Olympic, Titanic, and Britannic were designed as symbols of progress. Their scale was extraordinary, but their stories revealed the limits of engineering, communication, and certainty. Violet's role was quieter. She was not the captain or the designer. She was a working woman responsible for passengers, and later for medical service. That position gives her story its special power. History is not experienced only by famous leaders. It is also experienced by people doing ordinary jobs when the world suddenly becomes dangerous. We should remember her without turning tragedy into entertainment. The disasters involved thousands of lives, and Violet was one survivor among many. Her experience deserves attention not because it makes her magical, but because it shows how preparation, responsibility, and persistence can exist beside chance. 3 ships connected her name to history. Yet the deeper story is what happened after each one. She stood up, returned to work, and continued building a life that belonged to her. Violet Jessop could not make a ship unsinkable. No person could. But she showed that a human life can continue after the world beneath it seems to disappear. This was another story from the English Vault. I will see you in the next one.